Coming to you from the beautiful Treasure Coast of Florida, you're watching HamRadioConcepts.
Hey everyone, this is Eric with HamRadioConcepts, and I have a video here on the AA-230 Zoom by Rigexpert. This is a antenna analyzer and cable fault analyzer that is almost a must-have if you're into building antennas or repairing antenna networks. You might have seen my video on my YouTube channel of the AA-1000 that I reviewed, as well as my MFJ-226. I think this is the sweet spot in between. I would say this is much better than the MFJ-226, but more practical for the average user than the AA-1000. AA-1000 is a little bit bigger and it has a wider frequency range, but this will cover 0.1 kilohertz all the way up to 230 megahertz. So that covers 160 meters all the way through 10 meters, all the way through 6 meters, 2 meter VHF, and 1.25 meter for 220 megahertz, all the way up to 230. So 0.1 to 230 megahertz with a zoom function, which is helpful for zooming down on the graph I'll show you, so you can see exactly where your most resonant point of an antenna is. This is, as I said, palm size, a little bit bigger than the MFJ-226, a little bit smaller than the AA-1000, right in between, okay? And it operates on 4 AAA batteries, which come with the unit, but I suggest you get 4 good quality nickel metal hydride AAA rechargeables. And this way you can use them over and over again, or you can just use alkaline. Okay, but that locks in there. And it comes on the top, has the N connector like most analyzers do, but it comes with the adapter N to SO239, so you can use that with, you don't have to go buying an adapter, it comes with one. Okay, and on the bottom it has a USB port so that you can use it to update firmware or use this software from Rigexpert on your computer for a use this computer controlled. Okay, and it does come with the USB cable, shielded good quality USB cable for hooking it to your computer. The software is available online, and it tells you in the software manual where you can get, actually there's a link right here of where the firmware is and the software. Now let me show you something here. I'm very impressed with their manuals here for Rigexpert. Look at the quality of the printing in these manuals. Very rich colored, very easy to read font. Okay, and this is a Ukraine company. All right, and the translation is perfect. There is no, if you've seen some of my other videos on some Chinese radios, the #1 problem is the newcomer to the device cannot read the badly translated manuals, but they did a hell of a job on this. It's very informative, shows you how to go through different steps so that you're not looking at this thing lost on how to get started with it. So very good Rigexpert for the color manuals. All right, so let's get to it. We'll turn it on, and I'll show you through some of the basic functions on here, what's used most popular, and I'll leave it to you to investigate further if there's anything else that you need to use. So with the nice color screen here, like I said, we'll start in the top. A lot of people with an analyzer, a good analyzer, will have a Smith chart, and a lot of people doing various testing may use the Smith chart. Myself, I don't use a Smith chart that much. I'm more of just finding a good impedance match and a low SWR. But there's always people out there that can use the Smith chart, and it could be useful for you. SWR chart is probably going to be more used on here. Now, this will sweep on a graph the frequency range that you choose and show you where the low spots are, where the lowest SWR and return loss is at a given frequency. So for instance, I can click #3 for frequency range, and I can type in 001,600 from 160 meters all the way through 10 meters. Okay, that's going to sweep the entire HF band, and it's going to go and show me all my resonant points, SWR on the left, and the frequency above the right. And then you can manipulate frequency plus and minus here if you wanted to change that while you're using it. Okay, so you can find exactly where your sweet spot is on the antenna. All right, we'll go back here, and we'll go to SWR meter, which is another widely used function on here. I love this display here. Very easy to read. Even in sunlight, I was outside in the sun. Perfect screen. So again, you could use this. Well, I'll show you here in a minute for a demonstration on my antenna. You would set your frequency range. So I would go say 14,200 for 20 meters. And I would hit start. And now it's going to show me in real time. The needle would move and show me my return loss as well as my SWR on the needle. And then I can use, again, plus and minus to raise the frequency up top to find that sweet spot or where I'm resonant, and then know if I need to lengthen or shorten my antenna. Okay. The setup menu is where it has a different language, different color scheme, your battery settings for power saver and whatnot, your system impedance. And so this unit will do 25, 50, 75, and 100 ohm circuits. So I've played around with 75 ohm antenna feed lines before, and you would set that in here. Very important for that. So calibrate, we're going to stay out of calibrate here. Unless you know what you're doing, do not go into the calibrate. This unit is factory calibrated with the highest quality standards they have and the best units to calibrate this for optimal accuracy. If you go playing with this and you don't have the right resistive loads on top, or you don't have the right settings here, or you don't know what you're doing, you could throw this thing off and it will be no good for you. You'll have to send it back to have it recalibrated. So I suggest stay out of here. Return loss chart. So this will show you in real time, again, your return loss in dB in real time on a chart for per given frequency. So you can see you have more loss at one frequency than another. Okay. TDR. This is what any other good analyzer has, and the AA-1000 as well as the MFJ-226 have this. This is the time domain reflectometer, and I use this in my scope of work daily. This is what it does is it sends a small pulse or a small signal down your coax feed line, and whatever is reflected back of with an imperfection. Let's say you have a bad barrel halfway down the coax. It will send a trace down, but there's be a small reflected signal coming back from that bad barrel, and it'll show you based on the velocity factor of the coax and the other settings in here. It'll show you where that bad spot is, so you can trace out a piece of coax or feed line and find out exactly where your loss or your imperfection is, short, open, or whatnot. Okay, that's very very cool. Multi-SWR is another cool feature. Very good time-saving feature here that the AA-1000 had. So you can see 5 different bands at one time. So let's say you have my Diamond CR8900 antenna on my truck, and that antenna does 10 meters, 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. I could test in real time again and see 10 meters, 6 meters, 2 meters, 70 centimeters, and even 6 meters, 220 all at one time, or whatever band you want to choose in the range of the analyzer. You can see all 5, so that you can tell, okay, when I adjust 40 meters, it's making 20 go up. Or when I adjust my 10 meter stub on my mobile antenna, 6 meters is going up with it. So that way you don't have to bounce back and forth between each individual band and sweep the band. You can see how one affects the other. That is just very, very useful for quad band or tri-band or multi-band HF verticals. Very cool to have that. You'll notice there's a press 1 for help always on the screen, and so you can just push 1 and it will show you here shortcuts on to keep you know what you're doing here. If you need to start and stop a meter, choose the item, whatnot. So you'll always see a press 1 for help, and it shows you, and right here it shows you how to navigate different shortcuts. For example, pushing function and 4 will open the return loss chart. Function 4. Function 4. Let's see. Well, let's do this. Function. Wait. Function 4. Okay, so it takes you to the SWR. I'm looking at the wrong one here. Anyway, so we'll go down here to multi-SWR and tools. So now you can test with this unit. You can test cable loss and cable impedance. You can see say you have a piece of 100-foot cable rolled out there, you can see the loss of that 100-foot cable with the end open and then the end shorted. You can see the loss of that cable, and it tells you in here how to do the circuit. Okay, it'll tell you step 1 and then step 2. The same thing with cable impedance. If you're not sure if that's a 50 ohm or a 75 ohm piece of feed line, you can find that out on here. And there's also a way in here to find out the velocity factor of that coax, and it's in the manual, so you can calculate loss per feet or loss at a certain frequency. You can see that at a lower frequency there's less loss than there is at 100 megahertz and such. So very cool. Let me hook this up real quick and put my antenna in here, and we'll see what it looks like on my antenna, just so you get an idea. All right, so got my antenna plugged in, and what I'm using is my homemade off-center fed 80-meter dipole. I'm using a 4-to-1 balun to calculate it for the off-center fed. It's about 135 feet, 90 on one side, 45 on the other, and that fits in my yard. It's up about 35 feet at the apex, and I'm using RG6 coax, 75 ohm cable TV coax as the radiating wires from the balun, only using the braid. So I've gotten phenomenal reports. I'll make a video on that here soon. So we'll just go to some of the basics here. SWR chart. All right, so I'm going to sweep this antenna from 80 meters through 10 meters. All right, and then let's see, 50, 25. All right, we're going to sweep it here. So I hit start, and it's going to show me the dips, where I'm resonant, where my SWR is lowest, and where it's highest. All right, and it shows me that my minimum is 1.2 to 1.21 at 3.4 megahertz, just under 80 meters. Is a good spot. All right, and then I can go up in frequency here and see that at well, there'd be 40 meters roughly, a CW portion. I'm about, zoom that in, I'm about 1.7 to 1 there. All right, the zoom feature is cool. You can zoom in on that. And then if I go over here, right at right under 20 meters, right here, I am right under 20 meters. I'm about a 1.2, 1.3 to 1 SWR. All right, and then we go back and we'll go to SWR meter, and this is just the basic meter here. So let's say I go to set frequency again, and we'll do 20 meter band, 14,200. We'll go right in the middle roughly, and I hit start. And it shows me my return loss in real time. See the number moving. 1.67, not bad. But now if I go plus or minus, I can see that as I'm going down, my SWR is dropping. All right, so it looks like right there, 1.01 to 1 at 13.7, just under 20 meters is my sweet spot there. So being as off-center fed dipole and it's fed at not at a equal feed point, it'd be a little bit tricky to play with that. But if it was like if it was a standard 20 meter dipole, even on both sides, I'd say that's just a little bit long. I'd need to shorten it to get the SWR to come up. That's a whole nother video. So we'll cancel here, and then we'll go to multi-SWR real quick. So again, if I want to check, let's say I hit frequency range and I set this one to 40 meters. Okay, and I'll set this one to 20 meters. And I'll set this one to 17 meters. Oops. Set this one to... Alright. And we'll go down here and set this one to 12 meters. And then I'll set this bottom one to 10 meters. All right, 5 of them. I hit OK. There you go. Now I can see all 5 bands here. If this was, say, a 5-band trapped vertical, I could see all 5 bands at one time. Now I would go out there, and what I would do is first work on 10 meters and 17 meters because those SWRs are pretty high. But I can see that 20 meters is not bad, 1.68. So I can tune each trap accordingly, and then see if I tune the 20, shorten or lengthen the trap, or however your antenna is set up, how it would affect the other ones. Okay, so the multi-SWR is really cool to do that. So overall, a brief demonstration here of this thing, and I won't show you the software video of it because it's unless I get a part 2, I'll make a software show you what the software looks like on the video. But in time, effort of time here, I'll just wrap it up now and say thanks for watching. I hope you like this. You can check out the Rigexpert AA-1000 on my video channel as well. You can pick one of these things up at gigaparts.com. Links in the description. And great piece of gear. So thanks for watching. 7.3, have any comments, put them down below or below. And check out my other videos, and please thumbs up on all my stuff. 7.3 from KJ4YZI.